Snow was falling hard that evening, the kind of icy curtain that muffles every sound and makes the world feel a little lonelier. The fluorescent lights of the small-town grocery store flickered against the storm outside, casting pale shadows on the wet floor. Daniel Reed, a single father of a curious 7-year-old girl, had only come in to grab milk and bread. He had no idea that within minutes, he would hear something that would make his hands go cold and his heart race. The cashier, barely in her 20s, stood at the register with her shoulders hunched, trying to smile at each customer. But Daniel noticed something strange. Her hands, they were trembling. Not just a light shiver from the winter air, no, this was different. Her fingers quivered violently every time she scanned an item, and her knuckles had turned a ghostly shade of white from the grip she kept on the counter. When it was finally his turn, Daniel placed his items on the belt and gently asked, "Are you all right?" She looked up sharply, eyes darting as if she'd been caught doing something wrong. Then, she forced a brittle laugh. "Just cold," she whispered. But Daniel wasn't convinced. His daughter, Lily, was standing beside him holding a chocolate bar, her big brown eyes locked on the cashier with quiet curiosity. And that's when Daniel noticed something else, the cashier's lips were trembling too. Before he could say anything, she accidentally dropped his carton of milk. It burst open, splashing across the counter. Her hands shook harder as she rushed to clean it, mumbling apologies that sounded more like someone begging for forgiveness than someone saying sorry for a mess. Daniel's instincts kicked in. This wasn't about milk. This was about something much deeper. And when he quietly asked her again, "Why are your hands shaking?" her answer was barely a whisper. They cut the heat in my apartment. I haven't slept in 2 nights. I'm just trying to make it to payday." For a moment, Daniel didn't know what to say. The words hung between them, heavy and cold. Lily's hand tightened around his. The girl, her name tag read Emily, quickly looked down, as if ashamed she'd said too much. She started scanning the rest of his items, her movements rushed, almost panicked, as if she regretted opening up at all. Daniel handed her a 20 for the bread and chocolate. She fumbled with the change, her hands shaking so badly that coins slipped onto the counter. He could see the quiet humiliation on her face. He had been there before, years ago, when his wife passed away and he was left with nothing but hospital bills, a baby, and an empty bank account. He didn't want to embarrass her. But as he walked toward the door, the cold wind pushing against his face, something in him wouldn't let him leave. He turned back. "Emily," he said gently. She froze, startled that he'd remembered her name. "When do you get off work?" She hesitated. "In about an hour." "Wait for me. Please." Her brow furrowed in confusion, but she nodded hesitantly. An hour later, Daniel returned with a thermos of hot coffee, a bag of groceries, and his old but reliable winter coat. Emily's eyes widened when she saw him waiting by the door. "I can't take this," she whispered as he held out the coat. "Yes, you can," Daniel said firmly. "And you will. It's too cold out there, and I don't want to think about you walking home like this." She blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me." Daniel smiled faintly. "Because someone once helped me when I didn't deserve it. And it saved me." Her lips parted as if to speak, but no words came. She slipped into the coat, hugging herself tightly, as though it wasn't just the fabric warming her, it was the gesture. That night, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about her. He learned that Emily had been working 2 jobs since her parents passed away, trying to pay off debts they'd left behind. She was months behind on rent and surviving on instant noodles. Over the next few weeks, he made a quiet habit of stopping by her register whenever he shopped. Sometimes he brought her hot tea. Sometimes it was gloves for her frostbitten fingers. Slowly, he saw the light come back into her eyes. One evening, just before Christmas, Emily slid a small folded note across the counter instead of a receipt. Daniel opened it later in the parking lot. It read, "You don't know this, but I was going to quit everything. I was tired. Tired of fighting, tired of freezing, tired of feeling invisible. That night you asked me why my hands were shaking, you made me feel seen. You made me believe I mattered. Thank you." Daniel sat in his car for a long time, the snow tapping gently against the windshield. He thought about how a single question, one moment of noticing, had shifted the course of someone's life. Months later, Emily had moved into a warmer apartment and was enrolled in night classes to study nursing. She told Daniel she wanted to help people the way he had helped her, not with grand gestures, but with simple acts of kindness that told someone, "I see you. You matter." The last time Daniel saw her at the store, she wasn't behind the register. She was in a nurse's uniform, buying flowers. For the hospital patients, she told him with a smile. Lily tugged on Daniel's sleeve as they watched her leave. "Daddy," she said softly, "that's what you always tell me, kindness comes back to you, right?" Daniel looked down at his daughter, his heart swelling. "Yes, sweetheart. Every single time." And in that moment, he knew, sometimes the smallest question can save a life.